This episode of iFanboy is sponsored by Gamefly and Squarespace. This week on iFanboy, Ron's looking at some black and white comics, Conor's gone back into the storage unit, and Josh takes a look at some old comic ads.
Welcome to another episode of iFanboy. I'm Ron Richards, and I want to welcome you to a new kind of episode of iFanboy. You might remember about a year ago or so, we did these little mini episodes, these kind of shorter segments where Conor, Josh, and I talked about different comics and things that we were interested in. Well, a lot of you wrote in and said you really liked that format, so we're going to try it here in our weekly show. I'm going to talk about some books, and later on, Conor and Josh are going to be here to talk about some of the comics that they've been reading. So we hope you dig it. Let us know what you think. So to start things off, I've been reading a lot of black and white books recently. For some reason, I've gotten a lot of anthologies and OGNs that have been black and white, so I thought I'd focus on some of the three that I've enjoyed the most over the past couple of weeks. So the first one up is The Troublemakers by Gilbert Hernandez. It's published by Fantagraphics, and it sells for $16.95. And you might know Gilbert Hernandez as one of the brothers Hernandez, the guys behind Love and Rockets. Love and Rockets is a legendary indie black and white alternative comic series. They've been going on for well over 20 years. And Gilbert Hernandez and his brothers have become masters of their craft. The Troublemakers is a self-contained graphic novel that's more of the crime noir kind of genre. Focuses on three characters who are all interconnected. They're all trying to pull a heist. They're all trying to rip each other off. Con artists at every turn. And it's just it was a great book. If you read Love and Rockets, you'll recognize one of the characters in here as one of Gilbert Hernandez's Love and Rockets characters. This is actually a little meta reference. This is a graphic novel adaptation of a movie that appears in Love and Rockets. So if you're a Love and Rockets fan, you're going to love this. I gave it 4 stars. Really enjoyed the artwork. Gilbert Hernandez's line work is really kind of very simple cartooning, but gets the story across. The layouts are very simple. He follows a standard grid of horizontal, almost film-like panels, but that doesn't take away from the art at all. If you're not a fan of Love and Rockets, this might be a little new to you, so it might be a little challenging. That's why I gave it 4 stars. But if you want to try something new, a self-contained story, only about $17, you can't miss with The Troublemakers, so check that out. And you might want to go to ifanboy.com where I wrote a full review of this. You can check out the whole review there on the site. That's one book. So to keep in the noir theme, I want to talk about this anthology of noir stories from Dark Horse. It sells for $12.95, and what Dark Horse did was they got a bunch of A-list creators together to create short noir stories. So it involves Brian Azzarello. It's got Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips doing a criminal story, which is awesome. It's got a story by Jeff Lemire, one of my favorite artists, Paul Grist, and it's also got a new Stray Bullets story from Dave Lapham, one of my favorite creators. Stray Bullets was one of my favorite black and white independent books from the 90s. I love it when Lapham returns to this universe. So all in all, on paper, this seems like a great anthology. Unfortunately, didn't really hit with me. The stories were good, but some of them were too short. The format, the smaller kind of format, I would have liked to seen it a little bigger. I don't know. Like I said, on paper, it's got all these great creators working on it, but something fell down for me while reading it. I can't put my finger on it. All the art looks great. Some of the stories are great. They're straight up crime and noir stories, but something about it left me wanting more. So I give Noir from Dark Horse 3 stars. And finally, one of my favorite graphic novels that have come out in 2009, which I've been looking for a reason to talk about, and I haven't until right now, is a book called Second Thoughts by Nicholas Asker. It was published by Top Shelf. It's only $9.95. And what this story is, it's a black and white story. It's not noir or crime. Rather, it's a relationship book. If you like Strangers in Paradise or Box Office Poison or any of those kind of relationship, kind of real people stories, Second Thoughts is a great book to check out. It focuses on a guy and a girl who randomly meet in an airport in London. They're both in the middle of relationship strife. They've both got significant others that they're thinking about leaving. And you see their story get told. You see the problems of their relationship, the history of their relationships, and you see how they each handle it. One chooses to leave, one chooses to stay, and it's all about those decisions and twists and turns that happen when you love somebody. Second Thoughts was beautiful. Nicholas Asker's art is very black and white. It reminds me of Chris Samnee almost, and how he uses shadows and the lights and darks within the black and white format. The ink work here is beautiful. For $10, a self-contained story, you can't go wrong with this. If you got a girlfriend or a friend that is not really into comics, hand them this, and I bet they'll dig it and they'll really like it. I give Second Thoughts 5 stars. So these are the 3 books I've been reading. You can go to ifanboy.com and get links to go purchase them. And up next is Conor.
GameFly is the largest online video game rental service and offers you a choice from over 6,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, GameFly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back and GameFly will send you the next available game on your list. If you really like playing the game you're playing, simply click Keep It on the GameFly's website and the game is yours at a discounted price. GameFly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. Get a 2-week free trial when they go to www.gamefly.com/iFanboy. Some restrictions will apply. See the website for details. Hey, welcome back. Are you excited? You should be, because it's the return of It Came From the Storage Unit. I'm excited. It's been a long time coming. If you're unfamiliar with this segment, well, we used to do it in the iFanboy mini shows, and basically what I do is I go into my storage unit, which is all the way across town where all my back issues are kept in my long boxes. I pull out some random comics, I bring them here, I pick one, and I try to tell you what the story was, or remember the story, from just looking at the cover. And why is it hard? Well, because some of the comics are 20 years old, some are 15 years old, some are 10 years old, and I haven't read them in that time, for the most part anyway. And usually, I end up looking kind of foolish. And who doesn't like that? Here's today's issue. Bam, it's Detective Comics 756. It's hard to tell because the number's hidden right up here by the title. And if we take a look at this cover, we see, first of all, this is the last real Batman Golden Age before the current one, the end of 2001. I see May 2001 up there by the cover. This is a beautiful Dave Johnson cover featuring Superman holding a rope that is being held by, I believe that's Sacha Bordeaux, who used to be Bruce Wayne's bodyguard, became his girlfriend, then for a brief amount of time fought crime with him when she found out his identity, and then she was in checkmate, went into a coma, and recently came out of that coma. It's like a soap opera almost. Well, from this cover, I can't say much beyond the fact that Superman obviously is visiting Gotham, and Sacha Bordeaux is still around, and they probably meet for the first time, maybe. This doesn't, I believe this is post-earthquake, post-cataclysm, post-no man's land. So let's see. My prediction is Superman comes to town, Superman meets Sacha Bordeaux, Superman helps Batman with some difficult crime, or bonus backup prediction is Batman is out of town, Superman comes to Gotham to help because Batman's away, and Sasha helps him. One of those classic, where is Batman? I don't know, but here's Superman stories. So let's check it out and see if I'm right. Part 2 of a story. Is that Lois? And Batman's committing crimes. Federal crimes. Oh, that Batman. Oh, a little backup story. Well, how did I do? I had 2 theories, both so wrong, just so wrong, not even close. But it's not my fault. Look at this cover. You would think from the cover, Superman, Sacha Bordeaux in Gotham, that doesn't happen. This issue is all about the White House, and it's actually continued on from Superman 168, so this is well, not part 2, but it's a continuation of a long story. And what happens in this issue is Batman and Lois Lane have infiltrated the White House. They're trying to get to the Oval Office, and Superman is trying to stop them, and it's a basically issue-long chase scene as Batman and Lois, who's basically Batman's Robin in this issue, get from wherever they are in the beginning of the story in the White House, somewhere in the outer region, into the Oval Office to get the kryptonite ring that Lex Luthor has, because it's the only weapon that can stop Superman. And Lex Luthor's evil, so you don't want him to have that weapon. So this issue is all about Superman trying to prevent Batman and Lois from getting there. There's a lot of arguing over whether or not they're committing a federal crime, and Batman says this is the people's house and the president's evil. And so then he keeps escaping from Superman because he's Batman, and that's what he does. And so finally he and Lois get to the Oval Office, snatch the kryptonite ring, just as Superman and Secret Service and President Luthor all converge, and Batman is made to give the ring up to Superman. Superman is basically told by Lex Luthor, grab that ring, I'm your boss. Well, I'm everyone's boss. Well, I'm the president. I'm not really everyone's boss. I'm the leader. You have to obey me. So Superman gets the ring back from Lex Luthor, and in the end we find out that the ring was actually a fake ring Well, he stole the real ring, Batman, but he gave back a fake ring. And Superman played along with the whole thing and acted like it was real. He acted like it affected him. It was all a big ruse that Superman was in on from the beginning to get the ring from Luthor. And Lois is all upset because she didn't know it was a ruse. And secrets hurt in a marriage, Clark and Lois. Secrets hurt in a marriage. So she's a little pissed. Superman will be on the couch tonight. But in the end, he got the ring back. And actually, there's a B story in this where Sasha Bordeaux, Bruce Wayne's bodyguard, has been looking for Bruce. He's missing because he's in the White House infiltrating wearing a costume. And in the last page, the cliffhanger for this issue is she's going through his luggage in the hotel trying to figure out clues as to where it could be. She finds a hidden latch. She opens a hidden compartment and finds a bunch of batarangs and some capsules and a stick. And uh-oh, the cat has been pulled out of the bag. And she now knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And from here on, she'll find out the secret and they become lovers. And then she goes to checkmate, falls into a coma, and falls in love with Mr. Terrific because she's got a thing for smart dudes who wear costumes. There's actually a backup story in this that I didn't even read because it's part 11 of a story involving some sort of kung fu. And I don't know who these people are, so I didn't reread it at this moment. So that's Detective Comics 656. This is a great period in Batman's history, even though the art's kind of odd in this issue. And the art's by Coy Turnbull, and I don't remember him at all. No one's really straight. Whenever they run or move, they're kind of like they're listing on a boat. But fun issue. Great time in Batman comics. Detective Comics 656. That was from the storage unit. Stay tuned. Josh has got some jibber jabber coming up for you. You can manage your entire Squarespace site on the go with the new Squarespace iPhone application. You can post and edit blog entries, upload pictures on the fly, manage content, save drafts, preview your updates, and access your site's stats. The Squarespace iPhone app has a completely custom user interface developed in-house to match your Squarespace site's look and feel completely. It's also the only iPhone application on any major publishing platform that contains an iPhone-native statistics interface, tightly integrating your phone, your site, and your data. Snap photos on your phone and quickly post them to your blog, or easily draft blog posts directly from your Post tab. All of your current tags and categories will be there. All of your posts will be accessible directly from your Manage tab. You can edit drafts, delete posts, and preview posts with ease. Double-check your work before you click Publish with the app's Preview tab. You can now view your Squarespace site statistics right from your application's Statistics tab. Unique visits, page views, popular search terms, RSS subscribers, and top refers are all included. Your Accounts tab allows you to manage content for multiple Squarespace sites. You can save a draft post for one site and then easily jump to another site to schedule a post for later in the day. All of this and more is available now with Squarespace.
And welcome back. I am Josh. It's good to have you back here at my desk. As long as you leave at some point, because I got too much things going on. I can't have you around all the time. But for now you're welcome. You know, my mini segment that recurred a little bit was called Old Ads. Perhaps you remember it. Today we have Thor number 384, and we're going to check out the ads in this comic book from way back in October of 1987. That's a long time ago. That's a very, very long time ago. I remember specifically I bought this, the Once and Future Thor. I bought it from a mail order company because I thought it just looked so damn cool. And it still kind of does, although he looks a little bit like he's in the Scorpions or something like that. Anyway, so as we start, let's go first ad. Big M&M ad. It's a hit for everybody. They're not as fun. The M&Ms hadn't been given their own personalities or 3D renderings yet. In fact, if you look at this drawing, it's very, very, very simple. It looks as if they didn't really pull out all the stops for this drawing, or there was no picture. It's just they thought, hey, it's comics. People don't really care, how good it is. And this one I really like is the Oxy ad. It was specifically mentioning zits. And if you think about it, zits were mentioned on all of the pimple cream ads for most of the late 80s and 90s and early 90s. And then they disappeared. Then no one says zits anymore on the commercials. Back then it was just pimples, zits, whatever it was you wanted to say. That's what they talked about. And here they have specific kinds of zits. There's the X-zits, which is pimples so embarrassing you want to leave the party. You've been there. Of course, the blimple, a pimple so big it feels like it covers your entire face. And there's 150 different kinds of Oxy. When I say Oxy now, I think of a drug that's being abused in rural parts of America. That's neither here nor there. But they don't do that anymore. I miss Oxy in that way. Of course, TSR, they're role-playing games. Here, Forgotten Realms. Wow, I forgot about these at all. I feel like for a little while, these completely supported the comic book industry, was the role-playing ads. And then, there it is, the Johnson Smith Company. You may remember the Johnson Smith Company for such wonderful things as the Pocket Spy telescope, the portable electric fan. Of course, you get your black light bulb here. The portable pool game. There's just a pack of random foreign coins. So that's wonderful.
a revolving warning light you can put in your car, which I used to always want, because in old police shows, they would take off after the suspect, who was normally not the white guy, because their things were more racist back then. So there it is. And they would put it up on top of the roof, and then they would drive like hell on high water. Also, you can buy nunchucks here. They're practice nunchaku, actually. And of course, stars. And of course, the blackhead remover. I didn't know what a blackhead was for a long time, and well, what with the Oxy ad earlier, you can see how I draw the connection. Anyway, that stuff was good stuff. American Comics, I think American Comics is actually where I ordered this from, because that's what you did back then, because there was no internet. Moving on, Mile High Comics, the only one that's actually still around, just big lists of back issues. We don't do that anymore. 50 cents each for all those comics. That's another Mile High Comics issue. Here's a comic book convention. There's one in Boston at the Charles Hotel, one in Manhattan at the Days Inn Hotel on 57th Street, one in Los Angeles, the Hyatt Hotel. Apparently there were smaller deals back then. And if you wanted more info on the convention, you could send a 22-cent stamp to them in Belrose, New York. So there it is. And of course, under that, it's the drawing comics kit, where you could learn how to draw comics. Specifically, they'd send you 20 pages of comic book paper, drawing pencils, a ruler, a compass, push pins, tracing paper, a lettering guide. That's gone. There's no lettering guide anymore. Watercolors. They give you 5 watercolors. Cerulean blue, cadmium yellow, Nile green, purple, vermilion. So that's really not a lot of options, really, if what you're going to do. 3 brushes, white, and of course whiteout, and some ink. So really everything you'd ever want, and it's the low price of $39.95 plus $4.95 shipping and handling. So that's probably how a lot of guys got started. And then they became millionaires in the image boom, pissing off everybody. Okay, this one, Olympic prizes in cash. You may remember this, and I did this. I did this specifically. You would order their catalog, and it had all sorts of cheap crap in it. And if you sold a certain amount of those things, you would get prizes. And so I did this. I totally did this. And it was either $1 per item you got back, or you could use those items and get one of these things. So a radio controlled off-road 4x4, which you sell 17 items, and you could get a tent if you sold, where's the tent? It's 19 items. Not bad. I remember selling like 11, and it was the hardest thing that I'd ever done ever, because it was like little stupid cards and tchotchkes and stuff that only like really old ladies would want, and I only knew like 3. And so they bought some stuff, and that was fine. But of course, the Kodak satellite pocket camera outfit, which was pretty much just a camera. And a boombox. You get and they had the 2 tape decks and the removable speakers, so you could put them over to the side, and that was 52 items. Or you could have gotten $52, which sounds like it would have been better. But I did that, and it was awesome the once. And of course, Marvel subscriptions, where you could subscribe to 12 issues of a Marvel comic for $7.75. You don't imagine that right now? Because that's not happening. And then finally, I remember this being on the back of every comic that I bought for like the entire time that I was collecting comics that first run. You could make an animated flip book. Why you would want to cut up your own comic book in order to do that, I don't know, but it would draw the stripes on it. And in retrospect, A, these cookies don't exist anymore. It didn't take over. And B, it doesn't really look, why would you want this? It doesn't really make much sense. But there you go. There is old ads. It's funny because the ads are the thing that really take you back in comic books, and they set you in a place and time, and you go, oh man, I remember how this was, and the things that went away. And that's why comics are really interesting as a time capsule as well. So thanks very much. There's your show. It's a package of 3 minis. You thought you wouldn't see them again, but there they are. You can go to iFanboy.com, and you can comment on this show and read all the other really good stuff there. We put a lot of heart into that website, and we really hope that you check it out as well. It's not just a throwaway site for the website. It's a real thing. It's a community. It's a vital part of the fabric of the comic book industry. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that, or you'd have to say that? Anyway, you can go to revision3.com/ifanboy to see more videos. You can write an email to contact@ifanboy.com. Thanks very much. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you on the website. Bye. Yeah, we don't have an outtake. There's no outtake here. We were perfect. I think you could tell that from watching the show. It was like, man, you were like, that was a perfect show. But the fact is, it was. There was no screw-ups. There was nothing else there. You want me to manufacture like a fake outtake, do you? No. So here's what we're going to do. You know at the end of the audio shows where we say, tell people about the podcast, tell your comic guy, tell your friends, tell your mom. We want to say hi to somebody's mom. So hi, June Crab. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoy this. And see, maybe you tell your mom about the show, then we'll say her name. but we didn't. So there's the one that you get. Thanks for watching, June. Everyone else, we'll screw something up next week, I promise.